Well, the Irish Grand National goes to post at Ferryhouse at 5 o'clock tomorrow. We're delighted to be joined by the former Irish Grand National winning jockey, Katie Walsh, to talk about the famous race and what it's like to win it. Katie, how are you?
John, not too bad. And yourself?
Yeah, great, thanks. 6 years ago, Thunder and Roses, a 20-1 outsider in the Irish Grand National. And what is it like to ride in this famous race? We're talking about Easter Monday, when the Rising was going on 105 years ago, Katie. We'd horse racing at Ferryhouse. It's been going a long time, this race. What is it like to ride in this great race?
You know, it's a race that every jockey wants to ride in. You know, the Irish National is, as you say, is steeped in history, and it's a race that you just want to be a part of. And lucky enough, I've ridden in it a good few times for different trainers over the years, but lucky enough, I got the opportunity to ride a winner of it as well. So yeah, it's one of those standout races of the year, of the season, that you just want to be a part of. And it's definitely one that you would like to win.
Ferryhouse, what is it like to ride as a track?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's a lovely track. Big, fair, galloping track, lovely fences, always extremely well presented, along with the track itself. You know, it takes a lot of jumping, but it is a lovely place to be when you're on a good jumper. And lovely width the fences as well, and really and truly there's never really any hard luck stories around Ferryhouse. You'll find you know, you usually on the trace track the best horse will really always win, and that's always the results that everyone wants.
You won a Cheltenham Festival race on Poker de Sevilla in 2010 over a long distance, Katie. Then you were third on Seabass in the Aintree Grand National a couple of years later. Did that give you the confidence when you're riding then in the Irish Grand National that you know what the conditions are like and you know what this kind of test is?
I don't think the distance, I never really thought about the distance when I was riding in Aintree or even the 4 mile. I mean, I knew it obviously, it's a long way, but I mean, every horse is different, and you have to be able to know the gallop that you're going, and if you're going too hard, you're going too quick, and what the ground is like. But John, that's the same if you're riding a 2 mile bumper on soft to heavy ground. You know what I mean? You have to be able to make a decision to say, Jesus, these are going mad, like they're never going to get home, you know. And sometimes you're on something that is just finding it all so easy that it doesn't feel like you're going that quick, you know. So there's a lot of things going through your mind as a jockey. You know, you have to think, first of all, it's all about rhythm, really. When it comes to long distance chases, it's about getting the horse nice and relaxed, get him into a good rhythm, depending on the ground. But usually this time of the year, to be honest with you, the ground is always nearly on the nicer side now, as you'll see a lot of the tracks will start to water now to make sure they're getting all the good national hunt horses for the rest of the festivals. And you know, you're just thinking about reserving as much energy as you can, because there is a lot of jumping. I mean, you want horses to jump well without being too over dramatic. You want them to something that can get from A to B as fast as possible, and keep nothing too flashy. You know, once they're getting from A to B and reserving as much energy as they can, that really goes into a lot of the long distance chases, and that has a big part to play in when it comes to the last couple of furlongs. So it really depends on the type of horse that you're riding, and course form. Have they ran over this type of distance before? You know, that all comes into play. So every horse is different, and you have to ride them accordingly.
Did you get much advice from Ruby or Ted? Is there much discussion around a big race like that before you go into it?
I suppose for me, always those rides were always kind of last minute, really. You know, they were down the bottom end of the weights, and people were trying to get organised. So I was lucky enough that I could do the lighter weights, and that the opportunity came that morning, actually, for whenever the decks was, Easter Monday. So decks were probably the Friday, I would have thought, maybe 2 days before. So I remember being here in the kitchen, and the phone rang, and it was Eddie O'Leary's name came up on the phone, and I said, Jesus, I said, maybe he wants me to ride one of these in the National. And he answered, he said, would you ride Thunder and Roses? I said, absolutely. I said, I'd love to, thank you very much. Of course I would. And then I hung up the phone and I looked up Thunder and Roses, you know. So, you know, when you get an opportunity to ride in a race like that, your answer is always going to be yes, really and truly, regardless of what it is. It's something that you really want to be part of. So sure, then as soon as I hung up the phone, I started to make a few inquiries and see what was the best chance of getting around, first of all. And I suppose, as I said, you have to ride every horse accordingly.
Would you get that often, owners ringing you up and asking you to ride their horse?
No, I think just there was probably just so much going on with Jigginstown. They could have had. There was 3 of us going down to the last in Jigginstown colours. You know what I mean? I'm sure they were probably just trying to get organised themselves. You know, and I think to and from between Sandra and Eddie and whatnot. Maybe Eddie said, "Sure, I'll try Katie, or you try someone else." You know what I mean? That's, you know, when it comes to something like that, it's not always the case, but I'll never forget his name coming up on the phone anyway, and I had a fair idea what he was asking me.
Did you feel the horse had a chance? 20-1 shot, had won at the course before, had disappointed at Cheltenham. Do you do much research? Do you talk to Sandra Hughes, the trainer at the time, and map out a plan?
You know, I spoke to Sandra when she weighed me out, and I had looked up his form. He won a beginners with Brian O'Connell, I remember, but it took him a while to get his jumping together, and Cheltenham definitely didn't suit him. A couple of previous weeks, I think he ran in the 4 mile, and Johnny King rode him, I think, and he wasn't super, to say the least, but I'd say probably fast track and a good gallop. He just struggled to get into a rhythm, and you know, sure, main aim for me was to try and get him into a rhythm as best I could. And did I think I had a chance? Sure. You know, I knew I wasn't riding the favourite, but I mean, I was down at the start with the rest of them. I had a better chance than the fella sitting in the weigh room, I suppose. So, I mean, you never really got down to the start regardless of what price you are. I think I've absolutely no chance, you know. So I was going to give him the best possible chance to finish as close as he could, and I was lucky enough that there was a bit of carnage on the inside. Actually, there was a faller at the first, and he brought down a couple, and I had made a decision to line up good and wide with plenty of light, and he got into a rhythm, and he jumped absolutely super, actually, and he gave me a really good jump at the last, and it was a great day.
Yeah, 6 followers of the first. Are you aware of that carnage that's going on around you in a race?
You are. Like, I mean, obviously, if you're in front of that carnage, you kind of hear it happen behind you. But it's just that there was a line of us going down to the first, and you know, some lads make a decision when they got down. Listen, I'm going to go the fastest way around and take a chance. I mean, you can't foresee these things. You know what I mean? Most of them are, fair enough, they might be novices, but they have a lot of experience, and a lot of them are handicappers. So, I mean, it was just a decision that I had made that I wasn't going down there. He was a big horse. He needed light. I was happy to give him light. And, you know, it was a decision that I made. And, you know, but then there was other lads that went down and said, I'm going to go the shortest way around. And they got brought down. And that's horse racing. That can happen. We've seen it. It happens all the time. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about that. It can easily happen in the English National as well, you know, and I mean, everyone wants to get over the first. You want to get to a certain point in a race, and you want to at least race. But when it happens like that at the first, you feel a bit robbed, to be honest with you. You feel like you just want to go back to the start and start all over again, you know. So I was aware of it, because it was at the first, and there was no one well sorted out at that stage, and I kind of could hear the carnage more so than see it. But I knew that something was after happening.
When did you feel you had a chance to win?
I thought I was going all right jumping the back of the fort last, but at that time there was actually 3 fences up the straight, and we had gone a nice gallop every step of the way, but I had jumped well, and I wanted to hang on to a bit to get me home. I was conscious of 3 fences up the straight, and I wanted to leave a bit. I didn't really want to go for home just then. And actually 2 horses went away from me. Mouse's horse, actually, they went on to win the English National afterwards. He could have been second or third, and I couldn't go with them. And I was happy to I was hoping at that stage I was going to be placed. But when they went really and truly at the back of the second last and the last, they just stopped. They treaded on water, and my horse just kept going, and down to the last, he winged it. I thought I'd win literally as I took off for the last. I kind of went from being 3 or 4 lengths down to them just treading on water and me landing in front and being kind of too clear. And that is really the way it happened. I mean, I never thought. There is sometimes you ride horses and you think it's only a matter of when. I have so much horse left, like it's only a matter of when I push the button. With him, it wasn't. I thought at that point I was after getting a great spin, I was going to be placed. But when I saw the 2 horses stop in front of me and I wasn't stopping, I said, geez, I have a chance here. And that's the way it happened.
What does it feel like?
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, brilliant. Great day. I wasn't expecting it, obviously. But yeah, unbelievable. You know, to win an Irish national is savage, sure. You know, it's a race that has been good to our family over the years, and it's nice to be part of it. It was brilliant, brilliant. The great circumstances that surrounded it. You know, Sandra trained it obviously after her father Desi had passed away, so it was a very emotional time for all the Hughes family as well. And it was remember, it was a gorgeous sunny day and great crowds and great reception, and yeah, it's right up there with I was lucky enough, I had some lovely winners over the years, but the Irish national is right up there.
How did you celebrate?
I can't remember now, to be honest, John. I don't know where I probably went into Naas. I'd say I might have gathered a couple of friends around and probably went into Naas that evening, I'd say, but I can't really remember, to be honest with you. Oh, we definitely had a party. Wouldn't be like me not to have a party anyway, so there's definitely something happened. We definitely celebrated. Very
good. Does it resonate that you're a woman rider, that Anne Ferris had done it, that Nina had done it, that you'd done it? Does that resonate in the history books, or did that even cross your mind, Katie?
No, to be honest, it never crossed my mind. You know, I was just delighted to win it. For me, for Katie, for Kevin, whatever you wanted. Do you know what I mean? It didn't bother me if it was male, female. I never thought it was great now to win it, that Nina had won it, that Anne Ferris had won it, that it's going to be part of history. Never. I never even crossed my mind. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant to win an Irish national. And that's the way it was when I rode an English national on Seabass. You know, people always said the best placed finish, whatever way they put it, but like I never saw it like that. You know, I just thought that I finished third in the English national, but I never saw myself as being female, to be honest with you. Never.
I don't think Rachael Blackmore sees it that way either, but what she's done in the last few weeks is absolutely incredible. Like 6 winners at the Cheltenham Festival, top jockey in the champion hurdle. That's something else.
Oh, phenomenal. You know, she's a star. She really is. She's a great girl. She works very, very hard. She deserves every success she gets, and she's still improving. You know, she's so tactically aware as to what's going on around her. She rides a lovely race. She can ride a very straightforward, handy race. She can drop horses in. She knows what's going to happen before it happens, and she's getting better. You know, she doesn't look at it that way either. You know, and she shouldn't. You know, I mean, I don't look at myself as, yes, I am female. Yes, she is female, but you know, Nina's female, but like, I mean, still I'm retired. I still don't look at myself as being female, no matter what I do, you know. It's just not the way. I just don't operate that way. I don't think that way, and neither does she. And listen, she's fantastic. She's a great girl, and she deserves every success she gets.
But it will be inspiring. Like, there's very few sports where you have men and women competing in the same field, in the same sphere. Usually have their inter brackets of their own sport. So it will be inspiring for young girls out there to think, you know what, Katie Walsh, Nina Carberry, Rachael Blackmore, I can be exactly like this.
Oh, of course. And I mean, I'm not for 1 minute. You know, there's a great saying or slogan that came out: if you can't see it, you can't be it. And you know, I never saw myself as that way. But yeah, you know, definitely for young girls growing up now, I even see with my 2 nieces, they're massive Rachael Blackmore fans, you know, and for that next generation of girls and going out hunting or building fences in their field and they're going to ride in the national, you know, they'll be thinking they are Rachael Blackmore. And, you know, like, yeah, like she's definitely inspired a whole, you know, that younger age coming through, that if this is what they want to do, that it is possible. You know, it's like, you know, different women in different roles. Mary Robinson being the first female president. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure she inspired other women. You know, there's people that inspire women. There's men that inspire men. There's men that inspire women. You know, yeah, she's inspiring, but she's not just inspiring to females. You know, she's inspiring, full stop. Correct. Because she's so good at what she does. Like, there's not just young girls, that there's young boys out there and even younger jockeys who look at her, look at the way she rides, look at the decisions she makes. They're not looking at it because she's female. They're looking at it because they want to know if they can learn something.
Absolutely. Well said, Katie. This year's Irish Grand National, who do you think has a chance?
I like Nolan's horse, latest exhibition. I thought he was being very good behind Monkfish a couple of times, and they made a decision not to go to Cheltenham, and I would love to see them win the Irish National. He's a good jumper, he's a good stayer, and they had a great Cheltenham as well. And yeah, I'm hoping he could get the job done for them.
Any outsiders you might point us in the direction of?
Outsiders. What do you fancy? What's your outsider?
I'm a very late decider, Katie, so I'll probably decide on Monday morning. I really am such a late decider because I just see how the market moves. But if I can get a Thunder and Roses 20-1 shot, I'll be happy.
Thunder and Roses 20-1.
I think Longhouse Poet is a horse that I am interested in on some of his novice form.
Martin
Brazel, yeah, he's a horse I'm interested in.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's listen, I mean, sometimes it's just one of those races that you stick the pen on the paper because it's not always the favourite that'll get the job done. But I would like to see the Nolans win and all their connections win with him.
Now, there's a small matter of the Aintree Grand National next Saturday. Any second now, your dad, Ted Walsh, trains in the colours of JP McManus. He won a big staying chase at Cheltenham, the Kim Muir chase. What chance does he have?
Sure, he has as good a chance as anything. You know, he's in good form. He looks well. We're very happy with him, and it's a great race to be a part of, John. The plan was to go there last year, and obviously COVID has taken over the world and still has, but we're getting through it, thank God. And really looking forward to him. Sure, what will be, but it's great excitement. You know, this is a fairly small run family operation, and we have good staff out in the yard, and a lot of people work hard. So it's been great to have him here all season. So to be heading off with a realistic chance it's great for everyone involved. 21
years on since Papillon. Do you remember much of that day?
Oh, I remember like it was yesterday. 21 years. I know where I went that night. Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. I was 15 or 16 maybe, and I went drove with him and looked after him, and I led him up, and it was just absolutely brilliant. Ruby riding him, dad training him, you know, my first time in Aintree, and there was just great excitement, and to win it was absolutely super. It doesn't feel like that long ago, to be honest, but every time Aintree comes round, you know, you think of him, you think of those times, and we've had a good few runners in the national over the years as well, and it's just always a very exciting time of the year between dad having a runner or Ruby having a ride, or I rode in a couple of times as well. So it's been a place that's been extremely lucky to all of us. So we go back there again with any second now, and sure, you know, what'll be will be. We all know what can happen. So just looking forward to it now, John, to be honest.
You're not going to worry about no crowds if he wins?
Oh God, no. It's we're so lucky to have racing go ahead. You know, we'd all had such great entertainment, and during Cheltenham, watching all the racing, it was absolutely fantastic. And some sport isn't that lucky, so it is great that it's happening, and the crowds will be back, not this year, but hopefully next year.
Well, Katie Walsh, thanks so much for sharing your memories of Thunder and Roses in the Irish Grand National. Enjoy the race tomorrow, and the best of luck with any second now next Saturday at Aintree.
Cheers, John. Thanks very much.
Thank you.